right, guys and gals, we're back again here talking about qualities of a good partnership or a successful partnership. We're going to kind of talk about a couple things on this slide and then a couple other things which we have our core values, flexibility, communication, pitfalls of micromanagement, and accountability, which is not any of those on this list of what we've created in this presentation that we provided before. But we're going to kind of talk about both areas. So let's talk first about what we have on the slide here of qualities of a successful partnership, and then kind of explain the chart a little bit more in depth, and yeah, go from there.
Cool. Process collaboration. This is where we just work on workflows together. It's really great to have a partner who's willing to be flexible. We've actually had a partner tell us one time, I know that there's going to be like speed roadblocks and speed bumps and things that we're going to go through as we get through this, but we'll get through this. That's a very great kind of perspective to have when you walk into these things. So I think that's really important right there. Strategic planning. This is where we can, it's kind of like the whole process really. Like when we're going to onboard, making sure that we have the sales notes and that we communicate to you, hey, we're going to talk about this for the onboarding call. Like there's always a little bit of a planning process when it comes to campaign management and getting the client going. And we want to do it together so that it's very, very seamless. So that's something right there that I think is a really good quality to have between the two sides with a white label partnership. Communication, I think, speaks for itself. This is something that we value highly. I think when partners don't communicate with us, we see it as a red flag. So I think that's very important that you always kind of remain open. We provide Slack to our partners for the reason that we hope they'll utilize it and communicate with us quickly. And hopefully we can get back to them quickly as well. And then synergy is, I think, really about having just good energy, obviously, between the two sides, getting along really well, having a good, healthy relationship. We're all about relationships here. And so when we don't have good synergy, everything feels like it's a headache. Everything, I feel like just the whole mood between the two sides completely changes. Yeah. And so when we can all get along, I think that's important. It's also why we have those month-to-month, agreements, because we want to work with people who really want to work with us, which I think is important. Campaign performance, obviously supporting one another to get there for the client. We're all doing this for the sake of the client's success. So I think that's important. Sometimes we're going to need a partner to support us as well if we need certain things like access to Google My Business because they have a local campaign. These are things that we expect our partners to support us in getting so that we can be successful for the client.
I would also say, just real quick on that, is performance is setting similar expectations, right? That's going to make the performance of the campaign be successful in everybody's eyes if the expectations are set properly. So you'll constantly hear me say that because I feel like that's one of the biggest issues that SEOs in the world have is setting expectations. Well, the biggest issue is other agencies not doing the actual work they say they're going to do. But then I think it's setting the proper expectations with the client so that you guys are on this. If expectations are set properly, people are not as upset. It's just what I found out in my entire life, whether it be in relationships or in managing this agency. So,
yeah, I think that just speaks to success. It's all about expectations and then showing the client the results. If we're going to be a fulfillment partner, we would hope that you're showing the client all the great results. We've had times where we'll get a cancellation and we're like, whoa, this campaign is doing so well. And it's because our partner wasn't showing the client anything, our reporting, anything like that. That is a solid way to lose your client if you're not showing them this. And I don't know why anybody would want to do that. So
yeah, because that's where the true value is, right? Is actually tying the money to dollars they're making on the back end. And that's what we really try to do. So if we're not doing that, then it makes it tough to keep a client on for a long time. So I want to talk a little bit about the client management that we've seen, engagement. I think you said you looked at the 200.
Yeah, we went over this briefly, I think, in an earlier video, but I looked at 100 of them. And I just I looked at when they started, when they ended, why they ended, what relationship we had with them. It took me forever. And then finally I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this all into a cool chart. And this is what kind of came out of it. And I think it was just a good representation. And this is why we use it. so much. It's because it does show you, if you don't have the expertise to speak to what we're doing, and we can't be there to communicate to the client all the value that they're getting, it ends in high turnover. That's just what we've experienced as an agency. But if we're there and we can communicate and answer questions and make them feel cared for, they stay. And they stay for a long time, which is great. So I think this is just a chart we like to always have out there, just to reiterate our point that you should, I think it's in the best interest to have the people who are working on the campaign be client facing to some degree.
Yeah. So last two things is pitfalls of micromanagement, which I know will bring a smile to your face because it usually always does, because I feel like you feel the pain the most when we have micromanagement, right? And then I think accountability are the last two. So why don't we talk first about the pitfalls of micromanagement? And obviously nobody wants to be micromanaged, right? But I think, here, I'll just let you go ahead because you're the one that has to deal with it. So I won't steal any of your thunder here.
I will just say, don't do it. It drives us nuts. So there's very few people that have come through our doors that all of a sudden kind of morph into treating our team like they're the boss. But it does happen. And this is usually when I have a conversation with them about the fact that, one, nobody likes to be micromanaged. Like, we don't need a ping on Slack that we got an email. We can see the email. We have a 2 to 4 hour response window. We get it, and that's our expectation with you. So I think it's okay to be involved. This is more so on the collaborative space, right? It's not going to pertain to the people who are off just selling and we're full management and we're taking care of everything. This really pertains to the collaborative relationship when you're still involved and you still want to be a part of everything. Remember that this isn't your team to manage. Like, this is my job. This is Michael's job. This is what we do. And we're doing it for you so you don't have the stress. So it's really hard, I think, on our team too, to feel like they have three bosses. They shouldn't feel like that. As a partner, it's more like you're alongside us, not there to direct the team as to what they need to do. So I think it's partly trust and letting go and making sure that you have everything that you need. We give you all the transparency that you need to know we're doing a good job. And we try and meet you with expectation. We have a client success manager that will step in as well whenever we feel like we're seeing some red flags from a partner in the way that they're kind of collaborating with our team. And we'll work on, maybe they need additional support with communication or workflows or whatnot. But we really try and put everything we can in place to avoid those moments, though they do happen. But this is, again, know why you're white labeling. If it's to expand your bandwidth, don't just take it upon yourself to start managing our team. So that's my issue with micromanagement.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, though. I think that point of, why did you hire us, right? I assume some level is to reduce your stress. If you're constantly banging us to do, hey, you didn't respond to this email in 2 minutes or whatever. We actually had one white label, 7 minutes had it messaged
7 minutes, 2 question marks. And we were like, what the heck?
What? We just got the email, right? So that's why we're talking about the extremes, right? We want to be more in the middle of the 80-20 rule instead of the 20% that's on the outside of stuff. So last is accountability. Anything you want to add? I think I'll just say this, and I'm not sure if this is where this is supposed to go, but I'll say, I don't know. I feel as accountable as you do. Even I'm not even working on your campaigns, right? So I want to make sure you understand that as the agency owner, that I personally feel as accountable. That's why I see every single support inbox ticket that comes in, right? And I've heard complaints from my employees that the ticket just comes in and I'm already on them being like, hey, what happened here? Because I watched that inbox, right? So, and that's because I feel accountable to the dollars you're spending with us as if they're my own dollars that I'm spending, right? So that's how I interact with our team. Not always the best way, for sure. But I do feel that level of accountability to the point where sometimes Brittany has to tell me to back off because I'm trying to push the bar too much. So accountability, that's where I feel accountability on our side is, to the point, like I said, where I see every ticket that comes into our agency. So.
Right. And I think at an account strategist level, it's performance. So it's making sure that they're accountable for the results that the client see. I kind of feel the same with like Michael. Like, this is our job to make sure this is working for you, and we're handling fires and we're taking care of absolutely everything on our end because that's what you've hired us to do. I think on the partner side of accountability, it's making sure that we're set up for success. And if we request something, it's getting back to us and giving us what we need to be successful. So, I mean, it comes on both sides. Obviously, even the client has accountability, right? Like, we all have to own up to what we need to take care of to make this whole vision successful. So.
Yep, exactly. Cool. I think that wraps up the qualities of a good partnership for the most part. The only thing we actually didn't talk about was core values, right? So do we want to hit on our core values?
I think we did when we were talking about who we are, like our story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to know more about us, you can reach out and talk to us.